Yeah, Milkbong is the best game ever made. After a grueling 7-year development cycle with unprecedented hype, internet meme culture hysteria, and even the game industry itself joking about its long arrival, the follow-up to the critically acclaimed 2017 masterpiece is finally here. And I didn't even really care about it at first. See, I played through Hollow Knight in 2019, pumped like, maybe 20 hours into it, missed most of the game's content, I went, good, and then I dropped the game hard for Resi 2 Remake and never thought about it ever again. Hollow Knight left zero impact on me as a professional gamester. Sure, I planned on playing Silksong at some point, but honestly when it came out I was about halfway into the Sneeder remake and I had no plans on stopping. But then my friend Clint gifted me the game, and it's actually really fantastic, and it left a much bigger impact on me than the first game did, so everyone say thank you, Clint.
Thank you, Clint.
Thank you, Clint.
It's honestly incredibly difficult to properly articulate what makes Silksong so special. Everything in it you've seen or played before. Yeah, it's a Metroidvania. You get lost, you break walls, you jump, you shy, you run, you claw, whatever. The big twist is that you're actually playing as a girl. Yeah, we've all played that one already. It ain't no Shadow Complex, that's for sure.
Okay, fine.
Silky isn't exactly doing anything new or groundbreaking. Yeah, it's got Souls-like elements, it's got big runbacks, you pick up your milk sack after dying, it's got esoteric NPCs saying wacky things, it's got multiple double bosses or bosses that summon enemies mid-fight, and it's got a lava area right above a murky windfall area. So welcome back to Dark Souls 2! It's got major themes centered around religion, lineage, ascension towards something greater, coping with loss in a desolate land, overcoming great hardship in your past. So it's every Souls game and Metroid game wrapped together into one. And it's also got medical malpractice due to eldritch horrors beyond our comprehension? Hello Bloodborne, hello Bloodborne, hello Bloodborne, hello Bloodborne, hello Bloodborne! So what exactly makes Skong something worth celebrating? What makes it something worth that 7 years of buildup? Is it truly a masterpiece? Well, I got one word for you. Cohesion. Actually, I got 2 words for you. Flexibility. Actually, I have yet a 3rd word for you. Confidence. You know what? Let's just make that how the video is structured, yeah. Silksong is such a huge game, and I've had trouble trying to formulate how to talk about it. We'll just go with those 3 points and all you have about them. So from this point on, I'm just gonna talk openly about the game and all its acts and content. So if you're concerned about spoilers, I guess this is a spoiler warning. Go play the game, it's amazing. But if you're going to leave, remember to like and subscribe. Say like and subscribe to Clint, everybody.
Like and subscribe,
Clint.
Alright, let's spin the wheel, see what we got. What are we talking about first? Looks like we're gonna... Who up Cohesion, huh? Am I right? Am I right, fellas? Am I right? Cohesion, to me, seems like the biggest no-brainer descriptor of when discussing Metroidvanias. By design, every video game ever is gonna have a unified, cohesive whole vision in its entirety. But for Metroidvanias, I would argue that is the most important consideration when you make them. Every piece of the map needs to connect in a way that makes sense. The abilities you get as you progress need to make sense for the area you're in. They need to make sense for the enemies in said area and in future areas, and they need to make sense for any environmental mechanics or hazards in said area and future areas. From the tiny little lore notes to the core gameplay mechanics, everything needs to make logical sense and all fit together. Gameplay makes sense, story makes sense, visual makes sense, etc., etc. And I mean, this isn't exactly a radical idea. It's kind of expected that things must connect in a natural way, both in terms of gameplay progression and world design. Of course, Deep Docks is gonna be really deep. Of course, Greymore is gonna get more gray. Of course, it's called Biowaters. It's a Miyazaki game. It needs to have a swamp. Now, I'm being a bit hyperbolic here, but you get my point. Things need to click together well. And when your map is literally composed of colored Lego blocks clicking together, you want to make sure it all fits on the large-scale exploration as well as in the minute design details and world building. Town's called Bellheart? Yeah, everything's made out of bells. You can ring the bells and the citizens wear bell hats. Hornet's a hunter? Yeah, you kill stuff and she fills out her journal about what she thinks about the stuff she kills, including how much she loves the fuzzy monsters who wear bells on their head in Bellheart. Where did you get this hunter journal? From a little big-lipped bug who tries to smooch you, but Hornet slaps her for trying because Horny stands on straight business. What does the post-slapped lip bug do? She explores and researches monsters. After you kill certain bosses, you can go back and find her examining the remains of the dead boss bodies. Everything I just said is completely irrelevant to any real mechanical design, but it is a testament to how every single aspect of the game, from the visual aesthetics to lore details to NPC behavior and personality, is all tied together. From the locations to the monsters to the NPCs to the items and upgrades found in Hornet's moveset itself, everything has a reason and logical foundation for why it is the way it is. Use a simple key in the locked room in high halls and it reveals an old storage treasure room filled with money. Explore the room deeper and you can break off a door mechanism and then use said mechanism as a Gatling gun that shoots money. You find a key, you go to the money room, you get lots of money, and you get a reward to use all that money you just got. Not to mention the currency itself are rosaries, beads used for meditation and prayer in religions, which fits amazing for a game centered all about religion. God, that is so cool. I love religious themes in games. Cause. Or some say caucasm. And guess what? You leave and come back later, you can find the vault being ransacked by the thief bugs for all its money. That's a really, really good game design. Great design, great design, great design, great design. When you swing your nail to attack, it hits enemies slightly away from you, and when you get hit, you get pushed back a bit. So each combat encounter has a bit of push and pull character placement wise. Much like fighting games, each encounter becomes a bit of a tug of war of spacing, frame data, and sneaking in hits between the spectacle and carnage the bosses provide. I'm not gonna say that. That's not a good joke. That's a bad joke. The joke's canceled, everybody. Video's canceled. Go home. We're done. We're moving on. Weird diagonal dives, full-on lightweight marathon commando pro sprinting and stabbing, 2 different kinds of parrying, like 50 different tools to use, special moves, grabbing enemies with the grappling hook, not just 1, but 2 straight up guns. There's a lot of ways to move around the world and fight. So to accommodate this free-flowing agility in combat, the abilities you unlock in-game focus on mobility and combat flexibility. We're not at the flex entry section quite yet. We'll get there. We're still talking about cohesion here. But I bring this up because the way you navigate the world is ingrained into the rewards you get for playing the game and exploring. The abilities to move further horizontally and vertically are applied as much in combat as they are in climbing the cliffs of Farloom? Faloom? Is it Farloom? Right? Climb the top of the mountain, get a feather from a bird that lets you double jump and protects you from the cold since it's so warm and fluffy. Get a grappling hook that lets you snag onto rings that were left presumably by my tall warrior map mommy, etc, etc. Team Cherry presents an idea, looks at how it will work for combat, world building, exploration, lore reason, story reason, and where it is in the world placement, and only then do they deem it worthy to be placed within the game or not. Take getting the fancy nectar from the bird bar place. I don't remember what it's called. You pay a 480 rosaries fee because even getting buzzed with the birds has a religious connotation to it. You jump down into the basement to get said nectar, and then you're ambushed by a bunch of ant warriors who have been infesting the barkeep's basement. They break stuff, you kill them all, the little ants carry away the body parts from the warriors you kill, which is very good detail. You grab the nectar, you come back up, you call the barkeep out for having an ant problem, and he confirms he already knew about it! Then he has the audacity to still charge you for the expensive nectar. You pay the pervert flea like 10 bucks to get peeped on, and then you beat his ass to get in for free for life. This guy can't even give you a free regular drinks for cleaning his basement. How the fuck is that even fair? You're not a follower of God, you're just profiting off the pilgrims in the middle of the climb to the citadel. On top of the major design elements clicking together, there's just so many little touches everywhere in the game. We already mentioned the fact that there's little bells you can ring in a few of the shops, and that Hornet has text in her journal for every enemy that you kill. And she loves the big boys. Staff Life 2 wall guides will eat flying enemies if they get caught. You can Pushunka. Hornet will nap in her bed, but still open up her map while lying down. She's literally me. You can use your fire buff on your sword to stay warm longer in Mount Fae. You can take a shower. Every single NPC and most enemies in the game sing when you play your instrument next to them, and your instrument can be used in certain locations to provide extra lore about people when they were alive. You can gamble with dice, you can gamble with knives, you can gamble with the mice, I don't know. Spit squid? There is just a lot of interactions and details jam-packed into the game. Most of them are unnecessary, honestly, but it does add a lot of depth, nuance, and just straight up fun to an otherwise bleak and oppressive world. Hey guys, Sick Jacob here. I'm gonna take over for a little bit. Losing my voice has nothing to do with yelling just now. My baby boy fleas would never cause something like that. Don't even worry about it. The biggest testament, I think, to the world design and how tight-knit it is that I beat the entire game without ever using the compass. Ever. I never even bought it, and I never will. Even if I'm going for 100%, I'm not touching that thing. I don't need it. Guess we'll just go for 99%. Yes, I was lost a lot. Yes, sometimes I maybe had a little bit tough of a time running around the Citadel. Yes, I might have looked up locations for the purple lollipop quest or whatever, but I beat the game in 41 hours, hit 87% completion, so it's fine. It's fine. Good game design. My whole point is that everything in the game links together. Everything. Every screen, every trinket, every tool, every enemy, every NPC, it all flows together into one cohesive world. Good stuff, spin the wheel, we've been on this topic for too long. We flex it, baby! When I say flexibility, I'm referring to the game's player-driven choices via playstyle and exploration progression, and Naked Hornet snapping that fly guy's neck. That's pretty flexible. Every person who plays Snortbong is going to play it completely different. Different crests for different movesets and build variety, taking different pathways and finding different tools to utilize for your kit, doing NPC quests or not, and changing their appearances and seeing them help or not help during certain fights. The game is all built around the idea that the way the player plays is completely up to them. It is a Metroidvania designed around carefully curated design decisions that all work together, but its core mechanics and game world remains pliable enough to allow players experimentation and variation on how they play. And that variation is good because the game can be very punishing, and yes, I mean punishing, not hard. The game's difficulty has been way overblown. Yeah, I beat Broodmother my first try. Yeah, I beat Widow my first try. Yeah, I beat Lost Sinner my first try. Both the Dark Souls 2 and Silksong versions. And yes, Scarlet Carmelita Fox, or whatever she's called, took me like 3 hours. She kind of kicked my teeth in. But I really don't see the difficulty discussion and outcry being justifiable given how much freedom the game is providing for the player. Team Cherry themselves said it best in a recent article. Or semi-recent. I gotta upload more. Silksong has some moments of steep difficulty, but part of allowing a higher level of freedom within the world means that you have choices all the time about where you're going and what you're doing. Say for instance, you keep banging your head against the wall with one particular boss fight. Devs aren't exactly concerned if you're struggling for hours on end, that's fine. They have ways to mitigate the difficulty via exploration or learning or even circumventing the challenge entirely rather than getting stonewalled. And I agree! Maybe not about them including Bed of Chaos in the game again, that fight's kinda gimmicky, but overall, I agree. Hornet Calm is a game about options. Even at its most punishing and extreme, there's nothing stopping you from changing how you play and where you go to progress. I was stuck on Vertical Blighttown for a good while, so I left until I earned another health mask and silk upgrade. And that can be applied to pretty much every area and fight in the game. Get stuck on a boss or area, go get lost for a while, then come back with new gear or new abilities to fight the boss or explore deeper into the area. And trust me, you get lost all the time in this game, or at least I did. Very bold choice to not have any sort of way to mark your location on the map. I wonder why they decided to do that. Even once tricky platforming sections can get easier finding certain movement upgrades or movement gear. Items you find are often rewards like special trinkets to alter how you play, money to spend on the environmental upgrades like benches, fast travel, and items, changes to your movement or expanded combat options, etc, etc. It all flows into each other but still provides the flexibility to play how you want, both in terms of platforming and combat. Mostly combat on the item front, but platforming does play a role depending on what you equip. Take the item that allows you to get your body back without retrieving it, for example. Classic Souls-like item. Oftentimes, I feel that the implication would be that you'd retrieve your body due to combat or boss fight woes, or not wanting to do a certain run back. But for me, the only time I used it was when I messed up in the Cogworks platforming section and I really didn't feel comfortable re-platforming to get back to it. So instead of going back for a milk sack, I popped my Silk Eater? I'm still in a dream, Silk Eater. While most people's experience is to go up blasted steps to get into the Citadel, I went into the back way through the mist after defeating Phantom. I didn't go into Wormworld until after I finished Act 2. I didn't even get the double jump until after I beat Act 2 either. Listen, I got 87% game completion. I didn't have the compass at all. I Mr. Magoo'd my way through the entire game, and if an idiot like me can finish it, so can you. Hey guys, still sick but slightly better Jacob here. I may or may not have Googled how to get into Act 3 and some quests while I was in it because I was getting burnt out of the game and I didn't really know how to do some stuff and I wanted to go back to eating snakes. So, you know, it wasn't really easy for me either. My point is you can play the game in like a silk trillion different ways. So let's move on now. I'm not gonna spin the wheel, let's just go, let's move on. When I say confidence, sure, I mean that the game rewards a more aggressive playstyle and a more confident player, such as myself. But I mean more so confidence in bold design decisions. My Dilklong is a game about hierarchical religious oppression, accepting your past, and fleas. And the only way to be able to properly blend in Stick Figure Naked Horny and the Mario and Luigi Meet Delivery Twins with those intensely profound themes of spirituality and acceptance is having clear, concise confidence in your creative work. Seriously, you gotta be filled with pure, unfiltered self-assurance to put something like Putrefied Ducks into a game and call it a day. The biggest and most impressive design decision, in my opinion, is the fact that there is no separation of quality between optional and main story content. Skong is a game that's willing to hide hide a collection of minigames behind 30 map-wide hidden collectibles. It's willing to hide several major areas that all combine together, but that can only be seen through careful exploration. It hides entire quest lines and entire areas behind the use of a single key which you need to use in another optional area. It even hides an entire act of story content. I will admit though, it's not perfect. Some things seem to have arbitrary unlock conditions. For example, what reason does the instrument allow the butterflies to show you how to leave the mist? What's up with that? I spent hours chasing the butterflies, literally hours, and I never once thought to use the instrument. It opens doors, it makes people sing, it goes into dreams. Why is it moving the butterflies? What's the lore reason? Why does that work? Care to explain what's going on here? Ah! Hunter's March goes from being a tough but rewarding optional side area in Act 1 to being how you access main progression story but still technically optional content in Act 3. Shellwood starts as an optional transitional area and then it turns into a place that holds some of the most important side quests in the game. And you go to Bilewaters. Twice. I'll admit, it is a growing trend in the game industry to do away with the stigma of side content as a whole, so it's not really something exclusive to Snilk here, but it is a sign that the creators of the game have so much faith in their creation. Many games nowadays are willing to make high quality content that you'd expect to only see as part of the main story, now within incredibly hard to find, see, or reach areas. Back in the day, it was easy to tell what would be main story content, side content, or anything in between. Now we're getting whole story arcs, dozens and dozens of hours of new areas, and entire mechanics hidden behind intense, esoteric, hard to find secrets. And that is exactly how Silksong is designed. Literally going so far as to have unique animations for the prison segment if you're captured and sent there early on in Act 1. An entire area, cutscene, and new character model just for a sliver of gameplay not a lot of people will see. Just like the bad guy from Bloodborne! If he catches you, you go to an entire area of the late game early and you see brand new stuff. Hello Bloodborne, hello Bloodborne, hello Bloodborne, hello Bloodborne. Now on the Mario 64 backflip side, is it fair to have locations on the map that don't look like there's anything there until you find the secret? So areas you think you fully explored actually reveal more to the map, but that only happens on a progression check. There's no real way of telling when that area is open or not. Is hiding a secret bench in the hardest area of the game with the biggest run back fair? I don't know. Is a secret wall behind a secret wall leading to a new area fair? Is Bagman from Bagborn fair? I have no clue, but it's cool as fuck. And very ballsy of the devs, honestly. Another element I'm just obsessed with is how the acts are structured world design wise. Act 1 focuses on all areas around the Citadel, more on nature in the outskirt villages of Lordran. Act 2 is focused exclusively on the Citadel, even going so far as to show the Citadel itself as its own massive space on the world map, with its own subsections. We move from rural landscapes to urban. We literally ascend from the primitive land of Bone Bottom to the mechanical wonder of Cogwork Core, climbing up from rudimentary forms to complex creations. Very, very good thematic structure and overall design for a game about religion. And then Act 3 destroys everything. A natural disaster that shifts the core of the city-like Citadel and the nature-esque landscapes into a distorted, corrupted nightmare version of itself, switching up the content, story, and characters to reflect the disaster of attempting to control a borderline god. Wormways shifts into a land corrupted by Bioshock Eve hypos. Massive chunks of the Citadel and Outer Lands are destroyed, blocked off, or missing. You can dunk the mosquitoes in the water in Lost Veranda, and Sherma wears a funny Pope hat. It is stupendous. Act 1 sets the stage. Act 2 pushes that stage further and grander, altering the tone to be more metal and machine than nature-esque. And Act 3 twists and remixes what you just spent the last 30 hours familiarizing yourself with, taking the entire world you've gotten to know and love and completely changing it, then tasking you to re-explore it to find the Four Hearts is equally as cool as well as excellent design, recontextualizing the areas you've already seen. And yes, there is actually 4 hearts in the game, even though you only need 3 and the game only tells you 3 exist. Kind of a 4 pieces of the 1/3 umbilical cord situation, isn't it? Wonder what game that's from. The world of Silksong bends, morphs, and shifts as you ascend higher and higher into its kingdom. Literally. And god, that is so good. A caveat to doing more bold, risky, confident design like that which being abstractions to typical design philosophy and tropes of the genre you're working in, is that you have to get a little weird with it. And oftentimes getting a little weird with design means sometimes you gotta make things a little, punishing. Again, punishing, not hard. Bosses gotta push boundaries and be fast, aggressive, and absurd obscure in mechanics. And for some reason, a lot of them constantly summon a lot of enemies or have gauntlets before them. Kind of a Dark Souls 2 syndrome going on with Silksong a little bit, guys. I don't know about that one. I know comparing Dark Souls 2 to Silksong is like high treason, but I promise it works a lot better in Skong than it does in Dark Souls 2. Please don't unsubscribe, please. Dude, this place is kind of hard. Yeah, maybe we should crank it down a little bit. Make the single bench in the area a trap. Put me there and make my minions fully RNG based. Savage beast fly. Yeah, actually, what's up with that? What is up with all the benches in the game not working? Traps on them, broken benches, hidden benches. I don't even want to talk about the one in Biowaters, God. Honestly, I kind of don't really mind it. I kind of like having to observe my surroundings and really feel like a hunter surveying the environment for safety in a hostile world. See, it's actually a clever twist on the game's mechanics. The humble bench, which previously helped you reach safety, is now an obstacle that will do 2 masks of damage when trying to sit on it. What an ironic turn of events. When designing with the intention of pushing the gameplay mechanics in Player Sandbox to its absolute limit, as a player, you need to be able to handle more risky and bold decisions like all the bench shenanigans and the 2 beastfly fights if you're going to fully engage with the game. You're going to get pushed to your extreme, yes, but being pushed that hard is really going to make you engage with everything that the game has to offer. On the flip side, as a designer, you need to confidently allow that design decision to stick, and if you get intense feedback back from players disliking it, you just have to accept that. You're not going to appeal to everyone going so hardcore, and you need to be okay with that. I'm not saying the designers are completely in the clear for making the game so hard, because what does this boss do? No. I'm not saying the player backlash for difficulty is correct. I'm not gonna say get good. It helps no one to be reductive. But if anything, Team Cherry is immensely confident to even consider, let alone put in the mechanics and content in Silksong that they put in Silksong. And I honestly applaud all that. I think we need game creators to make what they make boldly, cohesively, and with players and designers in mind to make the best things possible. It's a game mainly about expressing your Bell Eater? A Hideo Kojima game? I don't know what this meme's doing in the script. I have no notes, no jokes. I just put this here randomly. I don't what was I gonna use this for? People act like Silksong is life slop, but I think it's a life gem. I don't know why I get like this at the end of all my videos. I'm sorry. Let's wrap this up. I'm done. We're done. Is Silksong the best game ever made? No, we all know what that one is. Is it the best platformer ever made? Probably not. I don't know. You can't really beat Mario, and Celeste and Meat Boy are kind of really high up there. Is it the best Souls-like? No, we all know what that one is. Is it the best Metroidvania? No. We know which one that is. Huh. You know what? Maybe it actually is. Normally I use the word masterpiece as kind of a clickbaity YouTuber thing, but it's really, really good. When you care about your players through allowing a variety of ways to play and interact with your work, when you care about the quality of your game and want every single element to align together into one unified whole, and when you have the opportunity to make something daring, and you find the confidence to show the world the exact experience you want to make, you can create something truly, truly masterful, and that is really special. Is Silksong that good? Yeah, it pretty much is.
Pretty good.
And that's all I got. Alright, here's the boss tier list. See ya.